Here's the next question, Canon. This is anonymous, but they ask this. If a first class feast in the 1962 calendar falls on a Friday, but it is not a solemnity in the most recent calendar, are we bound to abstain from meat/do Friday penance? Thank you, and God bless you.
Well, certainly with the regulations the way they are today, the obligation of abstaining from meat on Fridays throughout the calendar year was abolished in the United States. Obviously we have this situation, which, by the way, is not the way in many other countries in Europe and elsewhere. They still are obliged to abstain from meat on all Fridays of the year. The United States is actually really singular in that discipline, that we no longer have that. It's replaced now by what's described, at least by the Bishops' Conference, as a suitable penance, an equivalence that can be replaced. It doesn't describe what that penance is, but it says you can replace that abstaining from meat on Fridays. So therefore, previously, the discipline before would be, it would only be on very singular occasions in the old calendar, where on Fridays, which would have been first class feast of our Lord, in which you could have not abstain from meat on that Friday if that first class feast of our Lord fell on that day. But for the newer regulations, those things no longer apply. The discipline of the church is the discipline of the church. Just because we celebrate the extraordinary form doesn't mean the laws that exist in the code now don't apply to us. So as much as I would like, that I think it's a very good practice that we abstain from meat on Fridays, and if it's a solemnity, we can still do it, as our suitable penance. We're no longer bound to in the United States. That's the law that we observe, is the current law that's in force, is that on Fridays throughout the year, we can abstain from meat, but we can find a suitable penance. It's only on Fridays in Lent that we are bound in conscience to abstain from meat as Catholics.
So in the traditional calendar, of course, we abstain from meat every Friday. But with the new codes, it's not that penance is not done on Fridays, right? It's that the Bishops' Conference here in this country has allowed for a substitution of that fasting from meat to be done, but that still is on the books that Catholics, regardless if they do meat or something else, still should be doing a Friday sort of penance.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. I think that's the misunderstanding there, is that just because we celebrate the extraordinary form of the Mass, good for us if we do, but that doesn't, because I'm celebrating the extraordinary form of the Mass, that doesn't mean that the older discipline applies to me specifically. That's the law for me. It doesn't work that way. The Code of Canon Law doesn't have any regulations about liturgy, just because it does to a certain extent, but not about the extraordinary form. So, just because we celebrate the extraordinary form, I guess you can say in terms of the legislation when it comes to fasting, that's kind of like a one-off. That doesn't have anything to do right now with those who celebrate the extraordinary form. Everybody who celebrates the extraordinary form is bound in the United States by the same laws of fasting as people who don't celebrate the extraordinary form. Same thing with the holy days of obligation. That depends uniquely on the Bishops' Conference, which we adhere to. In the United States, there's 6 of them. That's how it is. We can't add or subtract based upon what was done previously in the old liturgy or what is done now. It's the law that's in force. It's not depending on what our tastes are, so to speak, or what the liturgy we are that we're celebrating.